verse 6 says, and this is David speaking, "Now I know that the Lord saves his anointed. He will answer him from his holy heaven with the saving might of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God." So when David speaks in the psalm about God's saving right hand, about God's salvation, usually what he's talking about is God saving him from his physical enemies, from those who hated him. But we know, as Christians with the New Testament, that God, salvation, has saved us through Jesus Christ from a much greater enemy, that of sin and death. And only through Christ are we saved. If we were going to restate this psalm, I think, in modern language, we might say that some trust in good works, others trust in their own abilities, but we will trust in the name of the Lord our God, who saves us through Jesus Christ. Let's stand as we sing Our God Saves. And we're going to hear from a team that went down to the country of Haiti to proclaim that message here in just a few minutes. So let's sing Go Tell It on the Mountain. Which is probably a book that most of us didn't read this week. It's a minor prophet. It's kind of obscure, and it has to do with most of God's judgment. But it has this passage at the very end of the book. It says, "The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you by his love. He will exult over you with loud singing." So God is not only mighty enough to save us, he's willing to save us because he loves us. Let's sing Mighty to Save.
Amen.
The kindness of the Savior. things that I'd like to put on your prayer list, if you would. Consider to be in prayer for Mike Limits. He is already somewhere. Yeah, very good. Across the world, defending us and keeping other people safe. And it is in Kuwait, right? Did I get that right? Okay. So continue to be in prayer for him. And when one Mike goes away, another Mike comes. Mike McIntyre is with us. He's in the back there. And Mike, you've officially retired from which branch of service? I can't remember.
The Army.
The Army. So most likely get to see Mike a lot more. So he'll be going to college for carpentry, right? I believe is the next journey there, if you would. And if you look in the back there, you don't see Jimmy and Crystal. They're not back there because they had the baby. So Crystal had her baby, a little baby girl, Victoria, 6 pounds, 7 ounces. So I didn't get length, but I got 6 pounds, 7 ounces. So things definitely be in prayer for and rejoice in. Okay, Haiti missions team, if you want to come on up. They have the wonderful challenge of trying to tell you everything that God did for a whole week and into 30 minutes or less. That's a very tough challenge. So if you would give them your attention and be praying for them as they come and present.
Bonjour, comment est? Good morning. How are you? You guys have heard me speak on Haiti many a times. So I'd like to give this entire time to some new missionaries that went out and let them explain their idea of what Haiti is. The love and kindness that we share with our brothers and sisters in Haiti. So we're going to start with the youngest and we're going to go to the oldest. So out.
Alright, so basically it was my first year going to Haiti, and ever since my dad went and I was old enough, I've been wanting to go. I was always so excited, and my first time going to Haiti was my first time on a plane too. So my mom's flipping out, oh, your first plane ride, oh, it's so exciting, and your first trip to Haiti, it's great. Well, it was really fun and great, and whether it was the fun we had with the devotions, the laughing that we always had at the orphanage, and with the translators were amazing. They were so nice. Or William's many personalities that we found out. Yeah, we found out more than we thought. So basically, if you would go out thinking that you were having a bad day compared to Haiti, you're right. Because compared to Haiti, we have everything, and that's what I found out. At my house, we always have an option for food and clean water. They don't. And they may not even get food, so when we went to school and fed the kids every day, it just made me so happy that we could see them eat. And when we had to eat, well, we didn't eat in front of them, but there were like small windows, well, small blocks that had holes in them that they could see through, and they saw us eating. It was just sad. Because some of them, I think we fed all of them, I don't know. I was under control of that. So basically, it was sad for me to think that maybe not all of them got fed when we're still eating. But on the good side, we did get a lot done. We got really good relationships with the kids and with the translators. I'm excited to go back, and it's going to be fun next year. Basically, we did a lot more with the kids than we were planning to, I think. I think that's what we were told, but yeah. And basically, once we got back, I was thinking about what I was going to say. There was so much to say that I didn't know what I could say. I would be thinking, how am I going to start it? What's going to be the beginning? What am I going to say in the end? What am I going to say in the middle? But figured out that no matter what I say, God would be proud of me for going. So basically, it was fun. And if any of you guys ever get the chance to go with us, go when you can. It'll change your life.
Amen.
Casey's every once in a while and spend like $5, yeah. That's like 5 days pay over there. But it was a cool place. I was kind of the entertainment for everyone. So that was fun. Tarantula crawled up my leg once. That was cool. I definitely recommend anyone thinking about going does go. It's pretty cool. Thank you. Okay, well, then we also did some like prayer walks throughout the community with Levi and some of the other people that went that aren't here today. And there were a lot of people that came to know Christ. There's a couple of people that were, one person I know that was practicing voodoo who like got rid of all their stuff and converted to Christianity. So those went well. Very well. All right.
Good morning, church.
Good morning.
So I was one of the lucky ones to go to Haiti. It is such a blessing to go and just experience a new culture and just to be with people there. You get to share God's love with people that don't usually get to hear it, especially with Haiti with Buddhism, which is a really big thing out there. On our first work day, we got assigned 2 Haitian kids. And the weird thing about it is, for me, I got closer to kids that didn't even know that they didn't know a certain amount of kids were getting paid to clean up. But we would come out, walk through, and you'd have 20, 30 kids behind us walking and cleaning the streets with us, which was amazing. So I got close to 3 little kids that I didn't know, and obviously they didn't get paid because they were not a certain amount. They were the 14 kids. One girl I got to know and love very much was Condalo. She was a little girl, and every time I would go into the old school, she would come and find me and grab my hand every day that we were there. Even though she didn't know me, she still showed me love. She showed me unconditional love, and it was beautiful. She didn't even know me. She didn't have to. She loved all of us. If one kid tried taking her spot of holding my hand, she would yell at them. And I'd have to tell her to share. But I don't think they want to share any of us. A bunch of kids would act like our mom or dad. What I mean by that is if they saw us looking hot because we're not used to the humidity there, they would get one of the water bags, open it up, and start squirting us. Sometimes you didn't know it was coming, so they would go behind you and squirt your back. Well, if one kid started it, a bunch of other kids would do it to you. So you were soaked by the end of the day. One time, we were in one of the classrooms at the old school, and somebody started squirting kids. I think it was Sam that started it. After we handed each kid a bag of water. So it became a water war. Everybody was squirting everybody, we were soaked, but it felt great because it was hot, they were hot, we were just outside walking and cleaning the streets. One thing you will learn there is the word for share, like I said earlier, and the word for that is potoshe. You would have to tell them to share water because not each kid gets a bag of water. So you have to tell them to share water, share us, because we want to give the love to everybody, not just to a couple of kids, even though we grew close to a couple of them. We would have to tell them to share balls or frisbees. I was able to bring a huge kickball that, sadly enough, was popped the first day. But it was the simple things that made them happy, unlike Americans. We love to have our electronics. One single piece of paper could put a huge smile on their face. And that just brought joy to us. Like I said about the sharing, when we would get a bag of water, We would drink some, and then we would hand it to the rest of the kids. I particularly gave it to the 3 little kids that were holding my hand one day. I had a little boy that was maybe 4 or younger, and my Condado had a little bit, and she gave the rest of the bag to the little boy because he was so young and he needs more water than she does. So you'll see that with a bunch of kids. They'll drink only a little bit and give the rest to somebody who's way younger than them. And I think that was pretty cool. You would think that after being in the sun for most of the day, that you would want, when you got back to the orphanage, you just want to sleep. For us, we would sit outside and just talk. We wouldn't go sleep. We would sit up in our balcony, just talk. We would talk about random things. For example, Will's language. That would cause a rupture of laughter. And it didn't help that we were also kind of slap happy, so it was very easy to break us in a way of where we couldn't stop laughing. Every one of us broke at one point during the week. And sometimes you were broke many days. But it was funny. If somebody started laughing, you couldn't stop. One example is we started calling Will's laughter a starter laughter. Because it sounded like a car, like you're starting a car. So that was our little joke throughout the whole week. And we even did it while we were in the airport on the way home, which was still funny. We literally couldn't stop laughing some nights, and we would talk about it the next day. Just because we're tired, but we find ways to make each other laugh through different things. We got to know each other. We got to not only grow with the Haitian kids, but with each other. Because most of us didn't know a couple of the other people that went. But by the end of that trip, we all became great friends, which was amazing. When we came back, we were all changed. We saw so many things that God did that week. One thing that stood out to me was when we opened our Bible the first night that we did devotions. It would start to rain 2 days in a row. Then the next day, when Levi prayed, for rain specifically, it started pouring down. And just to let you guys know, Haiti hasn't had rain in a while. So it was really cool to see God work through that. It really opens your eyes because back here in the States, we are so distracted with worldly things. We can't see the wonders God is doing sometimes. Being with the kids and seeing God work through each one of us made me want to come back. It breaks your heart when a child asks you if they can come home with you. One little girl asked me that question. Instantly, I knew I wanted to come back so I could see her. But I also knew that I couldn't take her home, even though I really wanted to. The kids there would be happy, like I said, with just one paper. It really makes you appreciate the different things that you have. And that's what I learned from that trip.
Good morning. Most of you don't know me. My name is Brittany. I've worked with Cayenne for like the past 3 years. It's a struggle, but it's okay. My story is a little bit different from everyone else's. I had been struggling with my faith. I had doubts. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Until Cayenne asked me out of the blue one day, we're remoting a church. She's like, you want to go to Haiti? And I'm like, sure. Someone told me to say yes. And it was full steam ahead ever since. Through this mission trip, I have found my faith. It's stronger than ever. You learn to be grateful for absolutely everything you have. These children will change your lives. Everything you do here will change your lives. Go. If you can, go. I'm telling you, my life is so much better after this. The love, the faith that they have in the Lord is amazing. It's astonishing. And through the devotions, we went to church with them one time, and they have nothing that you see here. They're sitting on wooden benches to go to church. And it was astonishing because they didn't complain. They just showed their love. And it was life-changing. life-changing. My faith is restored. I'm planning on getting baptized in 2 weeks. So, I have nothing else to say. They've said it all. I can't say any more besides go. If you have the opportunity, if you have the will, go. Truly. Thank you. I think I found my new church home. I love all of you already.
Just saying, if you go to Haiti, make sure from your rooms that you're staying in, make sure you close the door. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing geckos.
We have a picture that's not on the slide where the girls in that room move their stuff around and they're standing on top of the bed and they're spraying things and trying to catch these geckos.
So basically, there's holes, and we're sitting there. We told Savannah to spray bug spray. She got through all that, and then we told her to just spray crosses across the whole entire building.
It's a little harder this year because last year Sandy just went up and explained through all the pictures and that was easy squeezing. So, last year when we went, I didn't really say much at work. I didn't make a big deal about it. You know, it's not about telling everybody to have on this mission trip. Well, this year, everybody at work knows because we put canisters up to help Brittany raise the money to be able to go. So we have a lot of regular customers, and they all come in and they see it and all that. So that aside, I'll get back to that in a minute. I want to read 3 things to you, which we've all heard before, I'm sure, most of us. First one is Genesis 12:1-3. It says, "Now the Lord had said to Abram, get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great. You shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you. I will curse him who curses you." And here's the part that gets me. "And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." All the families. This week I was having trouble. I was like, you know, this was so easy last year. Sam did all the talking and went through the pictures. I don't know what to say. And then go figure, a sermon pops up from David Platt, of all people, and of course that's on missions. Here you go, guys. So then the next one, we jump all the way to the back of the book, to Revelation. Revelation 7:9-10. It says, "After these things I looked, and behold, a great multitude, which no one could number, of all nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, with palm branches in their hands, and crying out with a loud voice, saying, Salvation belongs to our God, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb." Catch that again. All nations, all peoples. God's will is for everybody, not just us in our comfortable America. This was really starting to hit me. So then, go back to the middle. Because there's Genesis, there's Revelation, and I'm learning, and it's starting to pop out more because of Haiti. As I read through, and all the times through Scripture, I'm seeing all the nations, all the peoples, everyone on earth, the ends of the earth. So then we go back to this other one that you see at lots of churches, the Great Commission, Matthew 28:18-20. It's going to be in here again too. "Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go, therefore, make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." There it was again. Jesus is commanding. He's not asking. He's not saying, if you feel like it, if you're comfortable with it, if you can afford it. Jesus is saying, go. And it's in there too. All the nations. Everywhere. Well, then I'm thinking, okay, so even in this Haiti that we've been in some of these pictures you probably see, these kids look clean, and they wash a little bit with the water that they have. It's probably not water we would clean with. And I watched them throughout the week, and they're in the same clothes all week long. And I'm just months today or tomorrow, God's heart's for that little kid too. So, back to work. So all these people knew we were going because we had the canisters up. And we have lots of regular customers. So we're back now, and people are coming in and asking about the trip, and I'm hearing a lot of things like, good for you. And I could never do that, and that's so sad how they live. I'm thinking to myself, these customers just don't get it. Because it's not good for me. It's not about me. It's about spreading God's glory to all the nations. It's about God's will, what God wants to be done. And so I'm thinking, yeah, people in the United States, people in Trenton, people in Milwaukee, Florida, wherever we've been, they need Jesus too. Here in Trenton, here in Breeze, wherever you live, we are on that mission field every day. I'm still from David Platt here. He said, you give 2% of your year, which comes out to about a week, which is what we just did, you will totally transform the way you look at the other 98% of the life you live here. And I think that totally goes with exactly what they just said on how it hits your heart. So I'm going to leave you with this. Brittany mentioned one that I've been thinking about this year, this go-around, when we were at Bob's church. And I'm looking around and I'm thinking, there's no air conditioner. There's no walls. If it rains, they're going to get wet a little bit. You know, they've got the roof on top. They've got no big screens for their music. They've got none of this like what we do. Thinking, if something happened here, if our air conditioning went out, if the screens stopped working, would we all still show up to listen to Pastor Paul preach because we want to listen to the Word of God that much? Because that's what these people in Haiti are living. They don't have all this stuff. But the ones that are in the church, they're going because they want to hear the Word of God. And so then I look at what we have in America, and I look at all these things, and I struggled with it for a while. I'm going to steal off of David Platt again. He says, what if God has willed our wealth for the sake of His worship? And what if God has given us wealth not so that we can have more comforts, a bigger truck, a bigger this, a bigger that, an extra coffee, and all these things? What if God has given us our wealth so that we can help others like Haiti, and so we can go to these nations and know the grace and glory of our God? On my heart this week, it just really hit me all the time, all throughout this book, all the nations. And that's what we did by going to Haiti. And I just really want to encourage any of you, because some people will say, well, I want to go, but, and there's always a but, because I tried to give a but too last year. And my but was, the money part of it was one, and I don't remember what else it was, but I tried to go back and forth with Sam, maybe this is just for you. It's not. If God is calling you to go, then you need to rethink whatever your but is, and think about that excuse, because God will make it happen. And as much as we want to go there and be a blessing to them, it is going to be a blessing to you too. I guess that's all I got.
It's hard to follow up after all of that. I've been there 4 times now. I've said it many times. I will go back every single year, whether it's just me or whether it's 20 that I'm wanting to take this next year. The plan is to take 20. The plan is to continue the recycling that we did. And to be honest with you, the amount of recycling that we did was very minimal. The amount of time we spent loving on the kids. Loving other people. That's where it's at. If we go back next year and we build one machine and we get them to where they can have their own business and support their family, but we spend the 99% doing what we did. We took one day and all we did was color. We colored with every kid that was there. Every kid got a piece of paper, got some crowns, and they colored.
Paper airplanes.
Paper airplanes. The amount of joy you find over there in the little bitty things that we take for granted here is unbelievable. I can guarantee you, if you come, it will change you. Not one person on this trip came back hardened-hearted. Not one person came back saying they don't want to go back. I wanted to reach one kid that we took this time. It sounds like we reached them all. So I'll leave the rest of the time up to you guys to come up, ask questions. If you want to ask questions, raise your hands. We'll try to fill in whatever blanks we can. What I did do, and we didn't plan for, is we planned for 22 kids each day to feed them. We ended up with over 80 every day. The Lord makes things work. We found ways to feed all 80 kids every day. Even if that meant taking a little bit from us, that's what we did. The nightly devotionals that we did this time that we did not do last time, I guarantee it reached people. I know for a fact it brought people closer to God because I saw it. The daily prayer walks that weren't part of our plan, it reached people. It reached somebody that was deep in voodoo. Things change on the ground over there every single minute. You have to come with an open heart, an open mind, a willingness to change your plans right then and there. So if you have the opportunity to come this next year, if it grows to 50 people that want to come, I'll make it work. If it grows to 10 and we're planning on 20, I'll make it work. God has bigger plans for us. You're being comfortable here in Haiti, or in Illinois. God has bigger plans for you all than being comfortable where you are. Whether that means you go out and do a mission trip here in the States, which is so important, or you go across the seas, it's important to reach people. So go ahead. If you guys have questions, please raise your hand. We'll try to reach what we got.
Yeah, Sam, it seems to me that giving the people the industry that you intended to do is really important. And that's the best way to love on them, is to provide them with some meaningful work, which was your idea. You explained it to me. So it seems like that sort of took a backseat to ministering through conversation. Can you do both? I just really feel heavily that they need some of that productivity.
I was shocked that the first day we got there, we had to I had to go around and talk to some people to try to figure out what plastics we could pick up, what they were going to accept that week, because it changes. And to be surprised, we went out and we walked and picked up plastic every day. And I didn't expect to have a full bag by the end of the day. I expected to spend time with the kids and show them love. By the end of the second or third day, these bags are huge. Yeah, they're every bit of 6 foot, and they're every bit of probably 4x4. By the end of the second or third day, they had filled a bag. It was overflowing. Now, in Haiti, unfortunately, money isn't growing on trees, so that one big bag got about 2 goods worth of money, which is less than 5 cents. So, when we go back this next year, when we actually set up the processing plant, it will go from being paid pittance to actually making things and being able to sell them for money. Then they have a sustainable business because plastic is everywhere. And then they can actually start to support their families. I kind of challenge everybody here, one day this week, I'll do it myself, one day this week, average Haitian lives on $2 a day. try to live on $2 for one day. And that's your family. That's not just you. That's your family. So if you got a family of 8, $2. A lot of us will be hungry that day. But you'll know a little bit about the hunger that they face every day. So.
To his question, we were blessed with a big enough group. There was 14 of us, so we split up. And so we had
Here, back here.
I said we were blessed with a big enough group in response to his question about the recycling, because that was the main idea we went there for. But the group was big enough that we were able to split up because we had enough translators too. And so there were those of us that would have the kids, and boy, we got swarmed. These kids that weren't even part of the initial 14, like one of them said, they're all helping. But we had some people doing that, and then we were able to still split up and send, I think Levi, I know you went, a couple of them went and did these prayer walks, which we heard amazing stories in our nightly devotions about those. And then we also, at the same time, one of these pictures shows, we were able to keep just 1 or 2 people back, and we helped with building a well, and then they also got started, I think it's completed now, with outhouses for this new school, that another foundation that, in a godly way, Sam was connected to when he went earlier a few months back. So we did continue on with the recycling, but our group was big enough, we were able to spread out and do the other stuff too.
You were just talking about outhouses. Where do you stay, and do they have something?
Who wants to explain the Oasis?
Okay, so basically we were staying at New Life, that's the orphanage, and there we have safe water, they have safe soda that we can drink. The rooms, I think they were nice, but I think, yeah, we also had a regular bathroom.
Very cool show.
Yes, the showers were cold.
Which actually
enough
felt good at the end of the day.
Yes, because you will be out for hours, and then you'll be saying, okay, that cold shower is going to feel good now, because you'll be sweating with how hot it is. And then you'll get there, you'll get into the air conditioning, and then you'll start saying that the shower is too cold.
So to kind of wrap that up, where we stay at New Life is a 4-star resort compared to a Haitian's normal day of life. It is based off of the idea of loving on the kids that don't have parents, the kids that are special needs. So they do, after 8 o'clock, they do have air conditioning, they do have regular bathroom systems. It's on a septic system like we have here in America. But if you figure, when we were there, they had another mission group that had 30, I believe it was, plus us. So when you get that many people using the septic system at the same time, it doesn't always work very well. Now, when you're out in the roads, when you're out in the communities of Damien and Nicaragua, there are outhouses. It's actually outhouses. The good news is the church that we partner with there in Haiti, the school/church, the original one, they have upgraded to where they actually have doors on their outhouses now. So that is an added benefit. But out in the community, some of the outhouses don't have doors. The analogy of not fully sitting down is a very good idea. So
Their outhouses ain't like our John Young's.
right. But there are places to go. We always make it a understanding that if you go to the restroom, someone on the team goes with you, and they stand outside the door. Haitians, children love, it's a game, they love to open doors. So it's great, it's great.
Kids didn't normally go where we were when we were going to the bathroom, but yeah, that still could have happened, so we still made sure people were with us.
Yeah.
Who supports like your where you stay? Who supports that?
That is actually a Christian-based company out of Florida. I don't remember the church's name, but it is a Christian-based organization that supports New Life Children's Orphanage over there. And you will see that because they have a actual large church there at New Life that they have the kids go to. All the kids actually get to go to school there, which is neat. And it is like our Christian training here. It's the same over there.
They, was it Friday night? It was towards the end of the week.
You gotta talk to them.
What?
At New Life, they've got the worship center, where they'll take the kids over, they don't know, I asked Tomas, there's 100 kids at the orphanage right now, so they don't take them all at once. But, we got told 6:30 is devotional time, or something like that. And Alyssa and I looked at our watches, and we could hear in the background this music. And we didn't see this. So we walked over, and we're peeking in, looking at their, while they're doing worship with the kids. And they're singing, you know, it's songs in English. We sang along. And the ladies, so we got to sit down, and it was pretty cool.
May I go back to the trash situation?
Yeah.
There was a picture that you focused up there a while ago that was mega trash. And you said, as they go along, there is so much of it to pick up. And it was plastic. My question is this, it's a poor country, where or who does the purchasing of the products that they throw the trash into the street? You know what I'm saying? You know, it sounds how very poor it is.
Yeah,
Well, these wrappings, I guess that's what it is, have to come from somewhere. Why is that?
everything in Haiti is imported. There is very little that Haiti actually does on their own.
Okay.
There is 10,000 pounds of plastic imported every single day into Haiti. 10,000 pounds. Because everything that is potable, that is safe to drink, has to come in. Well, the trash is coming from when they can afford their 5 goods to get a drink or something like that, they get a drink because they're thirsty. And then they don't have trash services. They've never had trash services. So their understanding or first world thinking like we do is we throw it in the trash can or a recycle bin. They've never been taught that. They've been taught, I'm done with it, it goes on the ground. So you've got years and years worth of plastic, trash, and here's another thing to think of. We have charcoal here in America for when we want to barbecue. How do Haitians make charcoal? They burn their trash down to the core, and that is their charcoal. So that's what they're cooking with. That's what they're eating off of, is plastic and things like that. First world thinking does not work in a third world country. So when you get there and you come with an American mindset, leave it at the door. It doesn't work. It does not work.
As a result of the chemicals given off by plastics being used as charcoal, do you get a sense that there's a larger number of people inflicted with cancer?
There's a lot of people sick. And what I've been told is there's different missionaries going over right now because water is one of the key things to life. We've got to have it to live. I can tell you that after my first mission trip there, my second mission trip there, I've seen how the outhouses are dug, and I've seen how the wells are dug. They're dug to the same depth.
Side by side.
So you understand what is in that water, what parasites are in that water. There are mission groups that are going over now that are taking their 5-gallon buckets, and they call them a 5-gallon bucket filtration system. I think they're like $300 to $500 a piece. But it filters millions of gallons of water. And what they've noticed is when they take these filtration systems up to the upper villages, that 90% of the people are dying because of illness, parasites. When they get a bucket, that goes down to next to nothing. People start getting better when they start to have clean water, potable water. I was stopped on one of the days by the mayor of Damian because I had a bag of water on my shoulder and I was sharing it with his kids. He stopped his busy day to come and talk with me because he saw that I knew water is life and it's important. So that's how important it is. We go over there with the idea of different plans, different ideas of making things work. If I can give kids water and food while we're there, I'm happy. Anybody else?
I'll keep you busy for a while. Government, I mean, do they have any government at all?
There is a president in Haiti. He may have a job for 3 months. He may have a job for a week. He may have a job for 3 years, depending on if the people of Haiti like him. Once somebody gets up into the government in Haiti, the guy that's in there now actually came from these little bitty villages, but he doesn't remember where he came from. People of Haiti go up and ask for help, and he forgot where he came from. It's like everywhere here in America is the same way. People get power, they forget who they are. So Haiti's just the same. The only problem is there it's life and death. Here we still survive. So.
But they don't pay taxes either in the same way.
Correct.
That's part of the problem with their government, is they have no income.
All right, I'm getting it's time to be finished. Anybody else? I know you had your hand up a while ago.
I just wanted to ask about the water, and you answered that.
Yeah,
The United States was giving them all the water that they had to drink after that earthquake,
right.
and I just wondered if it was still like that. That's where all those plastic bottles come from, right?
Well, the bag water, it's actually a bag. It's a little bitty square bag of water. That's no longer free to them. They have to buy it. So when you make $1 a day, if you're lucky, sometimes you don't drink, or you drink the water you're given, which is the well water. So.
When we stay in the orphanage, we actually support the orphanage by paying to stay there, so that
Exactly.
actually helps them, correct?
Our money actually, when we go and stay in that orphanage, is to help to support the orphans. It's to help to run that location, and it's to help to make sure they have potable, clean water and food all the time. So. Actually, Elifat, I found him this trip and got to go visit his new house. The very first trip that we went to, we built the house, the 10 by 10 squares. He didn't own the land that that house was built on. So once we built the house and we left, the landowner said, I want the property. So they evicted him. So now he actually has a new home in Damian, and I was able to go and visit with him and speak with him. Jay Zila, the 116-year-old, was able to go and visit her, and she remembered me. It's unbelievable. I guarantee you it'll be a blessing if you take the time. I guarantee you. Whether you do it here locally or you do it across the seas, it will bless every member of your family if you go.
3 things. What is the temperature?
Hot. Sun hot. Each day when we were there, it was right in the 90s, high 90s, very humid. Yeah.
And money, is it like $1?
We're talking about that sweat's just dripping off your whole time.
In Haiti, when we're in the mission field, you have no money on you at all. I have the money on me. I have people that are watching me, and I have people that are watching over me. You don't pull money out in Haiti. It's not a good idea. When you pull out $2 American and that's what they live on, you've now become a target. And you can't fault them for that. If I was starving and I needed something, and people were pulling out big money, my mindset would be the same.
My third question is, I want to hear William's laugh.
You gotta get them really worked up.
Yes.
Leave the boy alone.
I think it's enough.
We have videos, so
This is true.
God has given you an amazing heart to reach people and amazing experiences on how to do that well, through the prayer walks and different things. How can you translate that to reaching Trenton in that same manner so that we can make a big impact on this area here?
I will have to think on that. I will have to get with Levi, who actually led most of the prayer walks. There are things we can do here every single day. There are people here in Trenton and Breeze and the surrounding communities that are hurting. So when they come up and they ask for something, remember, they're in need just like the Haitians are in need. So I will think on it, and we will come up with ways that we can reach out here also.
Part of reaching out is your everyday life, you know? There's a picture somewhere out there that says that you may be the only Bible somebody sees. You know, I mean, the way we live is part of how we're going to reach out around here. We got to end on a funny note. Come on, come on.
We're going to end with names, and then we'll pray, and then if you guys want to ask more questions, we'll stick around up here a little bit.
A couple of his names I think throughout the week was Garbage Man, Water Boy, Duct Tape Man. He had a roll of duct tape. Cool fella.
What's cool, fella?
Cool cat.
The bee, that's right, he got that at the airport from
Yep. The Shoe Fixer was another one. The Flip Flop. Something. I had like something.
It was a very handy man to have around.
So Father God, we thank you for this church that supports the missions here and abroad. And we ask prayers over Haiti, like David mentioned earlier. They're going through some major struggles right now. We're thankful we made it home safe. We want to pray for the people. All flights have been canceled. So we want to pray for the Americans that are stuck there right now. We pray that they're in safe locations like we were. And we pray that protesting ends. We pray that there's some peace to these people. And above all, we learned so much about the voodoo. And they're not all Christians there. There's so much more voodoo. We pray for salvation. We pray for your glory to be shown throughout that country. And again, I thank you for the opportunity for all of us. I pray that we can keep going if it's your will, Lord. That anybody else, if they are feeling the inkling and they're having any kind of doubts, what if this, what if that, Lord, I pray that you show them that you will make it happen. I pray all this in Jesus' name.
Thank you.